Hello everyone, this is Rebecca Jane from Yoga with Rebecca Jane. And this session we're going to be focusing on the spine, particularly the flexibility of the spine. So we will be doing some wavy type movements throughout the practice. This is perfect for any level. What happens over time, as we age, even if we're not terribly old, our spine loses its natural flexibility. And because we don't do much with it, we stay in one spot, we sit a lot, there's all those things that prevent. Well, we might exercise but do the same thing all the time. What's nice about dancing and things and that type of movement is that we create a wave with the spine. We kind of move the spine in all these different directions, and our spine has all these vertebrae that are capable of twisting and moving, and depending on the part of the what part of the spine we're talking about. But majority of the spine is extremely has that ability to move very freely. So as our bodies lose, when we do less and less using our bodies in the way that maybe children would use their bodies, we don't then of course we lose that flexibility in the spine. So what we're doing today in this class, in this practice, is a lot of wave type movements with the spine. That's the whole class. It's a gentle, but it's a very powerful class as well. And I will show you modifications for ones that might be a little bit too much for someone who's a beginner, but there are modifications for everything. Okay, so we'll get started. Let's sit up nice and tall. I'll give you the mantra in a moment as we settle in. Finding that comfortable seat, or as comfortable as it can be for you, and sitting up tall, finding that, exploring the spine with your mind's eye, and also just feeling into it. The coccyx is the tailbone, and we work our way all the way up to the cervical spine, which is what attaches to the skull. Let's start to lift up through the crown of the head, and then let ourselves soften down. So we're here to free up stuckness in our spine in this session. And with what helps to free up the stuckness is breath. The combination of movement and breath. So let's take just a few moments here, not too long, but let's start to connect the breath with the simple movement of lifting, which creates a lengthening of the spine, and the vertebra pull slightly apart. And then as you exhale, there's like a softening down, so the vertebra come back together again. So lifting and lowering, that's the start of the wave. And then let's slowly and gently open up our eyes. And we're going to come onto our hands and knees to begin the flow. So once on your hands and knees, press into your child's pose. So the mantra today is I move freely. So and that means moving without being self-conscious. Let your body do what it feels the most natural. Forehead resting on the ground. Let's take a few breaths in. And begin to feel how the spine naturally moves with the breath. If you don't feel any movement, it's probably because you're not breathing into the rib cage. You're not there yet. You might not be at that point where you can actually get the breath as deeply as that. But we're working on creating movement and breath through the spine, and the breath come together. They work together. So every time you breathe in, you can feel the lifting up of the upper back, this rib cage, or the middle back, the the sides of the rib cage, the front. And then as you exhale, you lower down, you soften down. Let the head rest on the ground, so there's not much happening with your head. I want you to imagine your head's like is like a bobble doll, you know, where the head bobbles back and forth. That's exactly what it's going to feel like. Let's inhale into our tabletop. So tabletop is where the wrists are under shoulders, knees are under hips. And simply take the hips from side to side. Let's loosen up the hips. The head is just hanging there, not doing much of anything. If you want to add on, you can always take the gaze towards the hip that's out. Just turn your look towards that hip, even if you can't see it. And coming back to stillness. Now, pressing into the tops of your feet. Take a breath in, and we're going to start with, we're doing a 3-part cat and cow, just starting with the lower back, the pelvis. Keep everything else still, let the head hang, and let's just take your tailbone, tuck it under, and then lift the tailbone up. So the coccyx lifts, and the tailbone, then it tucks. The breath is inhaling as the tailbone lifts, and exhaling as the tailbone tucks. Try and just incorporate just the tailbone. We will bring it further up. We'll start to add on. And then let's add on. Let's incorporate the middle back and work our way. So now the coccyx is lifting, but the tummy's relaxing. And as you exhale, tailbone tucks and you pull the tummy muscles in. So feeling the spine, we start with the coccyx, work towards up the sacrum, then to the lower back, which is the lumbar spine, then to the thoracic spine, and then to the cervical spine. So that's your spine. And let's now include the head. Drop your head down as you round into your cat stretch, and then inhaling, lifting through your heart, looking forward towards the front of the mat as you arch your back and you lift your tailbone. Let's do a few more of these full rolls. You're creating a wave with your spine. Yeah, this is fantastic for anyone. Well, I don't care whether you have back issues, you don't have back issues, you're preventing back issues. And melding the breath with the movement, which makes a huge difference. It adds the life force, the more the joy that comes out of these movements. Now we're going to take a breath in, and let's press to our heels. Reach your arms forward, and from here, just a few little hip movements from side to side, stretching the spine forward and then continuously moving the spine from side to side. Then inhaling, float forward through your cow stretch, tilt your tailbone up. Keep your chin tucked for this one, and then lower the pubic bone towards the ground. Lift your heart forward, then lift your head. So we're going to do this slow motion and speed it up. Keep your head lifted. Head is the very last to drop down. Press yourself back through your cat stretch, and then come all the way down and bring your chin to your chest. Let's go inhaling without looking forward. Keep looking back, keep looking back, keep looking back. Pubic bone drops to the ground. Lift your heart, then lift your head. And keep your head lifted. Press back through, tuck your tailbone, pull the tummy muscles in and up, and then press back, and then chin to your chest. Let's go faster here. But from here, don't worry if you don't get the head and the movement. I just want you to start to feel the spine, creating a wave with your spine. Breathing in as you float forward, and exhaling as you float back. So make that, think of serpentine. Well, it's called the serpentine movement. So think about a snake. how a snake moves. Obviously they're moving from side to side, but we're creating that kind of movement with our spine. Think about cats, how they, or just animals in general, how they move with ease, but yet they're still they're stable. Their bodies are stable, they're steady, but there's no rigidity because they need to be able to move quickly for various reasons. Let's come down, all the way down onto our stomachs. Forearms underneath our shoulders, or if you wish, you can bring your hands a little closer into cobra. Otherwise, elbows under your shoulders, or you can lift your elbows a little bit higher. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, lift your heart towards your thumbs. So the wave continues, even now this is more of a static posture. We're not doing a hell of a lot here, but there's still that wave in the spine. So you're inhaling, lifting up a little bit, and exhaling, chest lifts forward, look towards your thumbs. There's not much happening with the head. Inhaling, create that wave in the spine, and then lower down, and then slide your hands next to the chest, press back into your child's pose, this time with the toes curled under, stretching out those toes. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, slide your hands to your knees, lift off your heels, reach your arms up to the sky. Bring the hands together above your head into a prayer or Anjali Mudra, and lean back. And I want you to keep the hands together, float forward, create that spinal curve, the cat shape. Then inhale, slither forward, tilt your tailbone up, and then lower yourself down. Think about a wave with your spine. Inhaling into your cobra, lift through the heart. Exhale, lower down, push back up onto those knees. Through your cat stretch, slide your hands to your knees. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Palms together, lean back. You can lift and look up if that feels okay on your neck. Exhaling, chin to chest, round forward. Inhaling, keep your chin tucked all the way down until you're onto your stomach. Once you're on your stomach, inhaling into your cobra, and then lift your chin up slightly, look towards the front of the mat. Take a breath in one more time, rounding through the spine, through the cat. Let's go a little faster. Inhaling, lifting the arms up, maybe looking up towards those hands, and then exhaling, folding forward. Let's take a pause here. And your pause, your hands are on the ground. Take a moment here and continue to breathe in, creating that subtle wave now in your spine. So there's no longer, some are more dramatic and some are a little bit less. And then let's inhale into your tabletop. Let's curl the toes under, exhaling, downward dog. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, let's walk to the front of the mat. We will come back to a spinal wave. It's called the dog wave. But we're going to take a moment here. At the front of the mat, forward bend. Take the opposite hand to the opposite elbow. Drop your head. So this class is about spinal health. So if there's lots of stuck spots in our spine, we're kind of creating more space. Release the hands from the elbows. Open the feet wider than your hips. Take a breath in. Slide the hands on your thighs. Lift your chest and lift your head so that you're looking now towards the ground. And then exhaling, forward fold, let your head drop, pressing into the inner edge of that right foot. Make sure that all three, that triangle shape on the sole of your foot is pushing down. Inhaling, slide the hands up your thighs, lift up. Chest leads, unless you have back issues, if you have a back problem, you don't lead with the chest, you always round up like a cat, you roll up. But otherwise, you can lift from the chest, lift from the chin, and this time lift all the way up to standing. Hands above the head, in that Anjali Mudra prayer, and lean back.
Keep the hands where they are, just float them down the center of your body. Roll down, roll down, roll down, roll down until the hands touch the ground or blocks or wherever they land. Take an inhale, slide the hands up the shins, lift your heart forward and lift your chin. And then slide all the way up, reach, 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 reach. Reach the arms above your head and lean back, maybe look back. And then exhale, roll forward. Whew. Let's do that one more time. Take an inhale, slide the hands up the shins immediately. Once the hands touch the thighs, lift your heart, lift your chin. Press into the three corners of your feet, and then inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands in front of you, float down, bring your chin towards your chest once you get to your forward bend. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, step back. So a little bit of a heart racing class in some respects. On your knees, press back into your child's pose. We're not going to stay here too long. Inhaling into your tabletop, exhaling either into your downward dogs, or if you need to do this back on your knees like we did earlier, you will just drop your knees down. Otherwise, follow me. We're going into our, we're moving into our dog wave. So we'll start with simply taking your head and tucking it towards your chest, and then lifting it up, looking towards your thumbs. Back and forth a few times, just loosening up that neck. Okay. Now, one more time, inhale, exhale, chin to chest. Come onto your toes. We're going to create that wave. Walk your hands a little further forward. Inhaling, and then slowly rolling yourself forward. Keep your chin tucked, keep your chin tucked. Keep it tucked until your pubic bone is towards the ground. And as soon as that drops, lift your chest forward, lift your chin. Yeah? Then keep your chin lifted. Exhale, roll back. Keep looking forward. And then once you're in your downward dog, bring your chin to your chest as you exhale. A little faster. Inhaling onto your toes, keep your chin tucked, keep your chin tucked, keep your chin tucked, lift, 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 drop your pubic bone towards the ground, then all of a sudden, lift your heart, lift your chin. Head's the last to lift. Keep your chin lifted, exhale, all the way back until finally you're in your downward dog. Let's do two more. Inhaling, rolling onto those toes, creating the wave with your spine. And then exhaling, looking forward, looking forward, looking forward. And then let's lower the knees to the ground. Press back into a child's pose. Keep your arms stretching. Keep your body alive and awake. We don't want to become, once you relax at this point, you lose the energy you need to continue. So keep the wave of the spine. Maintain that wave, but now it's a subtler wave, right? Inhaling. And then from here, we're going to stretch. So bring your left hand out to the side. I'll just swing around so you're in your child's pose. Bring your hands over to the left on a diagonal. Those who are pretty flexible, bring your hands maybe in line with your left knee. Possibly either hands apart or right hand on top of your left hand. Take a breath in and push that left heel of the hand away as you push your right bottom cheek into your right heel. And then maybe look towards your left shoulder, or just let the head hang here. But you're still looking. The gaze is towards your left shoulder. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathing into that shape of the spine. So what shape is this? A little bit like a C. And then walk your hands forward, stretch forward as a way to realign your spine to its natural shape, and then walk over to the right.
So walk over, the hands over to the right, either on a diagonal or in line with your right knee. Place your right hand on the ground, left hand on top. Again, it could be separate. That might be too intense. Press into your hands and then push your left bottom cheek towards your right heel. And then just a little twist here, looking towards your right shoulder. And breathe in as you create this subtle wave, these waves through the spine using the breath. There's always a little bit of movement with the breath. If you hold your breath or you don't breathe consciously, it becomes kind of like a lifeless posture. There's not much to it. And then walk your hands forward. That's the thing with yoga, is keeping everything alive. And we do that through the breath. Okay, so here we are, sitting back towards the ground, into your child's pose, just for a breath here. Inhaling and exhaling. And loosening up those hands, and then slide the hands to the knees. So there's different ways we can work on our spinal health, and one is the mobility, to increase mobility with what we're doing. That's reach your legs forward. That's extend your arms up and fold forward. Just take a pause here. So this is another way, it's stretching out the spine. So this is stretching. This is more of a passive stretch, while the waves that we created is more of a dynamic stretch. And as you breathe in and out, you're going to feel that there's a subtle wave in the spine again, right? Inhaling and exhaling. And now from here, I want you to lift up nice and tall. You have options here, either to place the feet on the ground if you cannot sit tall with the legs straight. So either one. I'm going to keep my legs straight for this one. Fingers on the ground, but what you're doing is coming onto you're sliding the hands back behind your hips on the fingertips, pointing, and the fingers are pointing forward rather than back, okay? Unless it hurts, then just simply twist them to the side rather than back. You're going to take a breath in, your feet are flexed if your legs are straight. Lean forward as if you're skiing, you're doing a high jump ski, is that such a thing? Yeah, I mean in the Olympics they have that. I'm not sure I'm explaining it well enough. But you have your fingers on the ground, you're leaning forward, the chest and the chin are leading. Take an inhale. Then lift up as you exhale, flatten out those hands behind you. Squeeze the elbows in and bend the elbows. And then inhale, lift back up, open up your heart. Okay, and then exhale, lift your bottom off the ground and then point the toes. So for some of us, this isn't going to work, so you just keep your bottom on the ground and just open up the heart. Lift your head. And then lift your head maybe back and looking up to the sky. Then lower the bottom down, then inhale, reach forward with the chest, reflex those feet. Chin and chest extends forward. Take an inhale and exhale, hands on the ground. This is a little bit of a wave. Inhale, lift through the heart. Then exhale, lift your bottom off the ground or not, and then point the toes and drop your head. And breathe in, and as you breathe out, lower your bottom down, and then that's inhale, straighten. One more time. Inhaling and exhaling, bending the elbows. Lifting through the heart, inhale. Exhale, lift your bottom up, re-straighten, point those toes. Drop your head and then exhale. This time, fold forward. Forward fold. Aha. Whew. Inhaling and exhaling. Continue to move. Get the spine, keep the spine flowing through that wavy, those waves. I was going to say that wavy dog, but this is a forward bend, so a wavy forward bend. Lift the shoulders up, come up nice and tall, and then that's from here. Just take your right leg over your left.
Take your left arm, wrap it around your right knee, right hand behind your lower, just behind your sacrum. Take an inhale and exhale, twist. This should feel nice on your spine. Either flex your left foot or push through the ball mound of that left foot. And soften through the shoulders and inhaling, lifting. Exhaling, twisting. So your spine is not just, you're not just holding and doing nothing. You're actually breathing in, lifting, lengthening, and exhaling, releasing. Inhaling and exhaling. So it's this kind of wave-like movement. And then take your right leg from on top of that leg and then place your left leg over your right leg. Right arm wraps around your left knee. Left hand behind your sacrum. Either flex your right foot or push through the ball mound. Inhaling first. Lengthening, then twisting from the navel. So we could just hang out here and just go, okay, so this is really interesting. Or take a breath in, lift, and then exhale, twist. Inhale again, and exhale, twist. So the wave continues. This is dynamic. This is a dynamic stretch rather than just holding the stretch. There's more to it. It adds a little extra to the stretch. And then inhaling back and taking that left foot off the right. And let's scoot our bottom to our heels. Inhale, reach your arms forward. Now remember the wave-like movement? Let's make a kind of a wave-like movement as we lower ourselves down. Tummy pulls in. You would create that little C shape with your tummy by just pulling that in towards the spine and lowering yourself down. And you can do a little bit of a dance as you lower down. Reach your arms away from the legs. Stretch through those legs. Breathe in and exhale. Inhaling and exhaling. Let's hug your knees into your chest. We're not going to do a spinal twist in this one, which often you end the class before Savasana because we've just twisted. But let's just do some rocks and rolls to loosen up that lower back. Let's bring our forehead to our knees. Hug the knees in a little bit closer, chin towards chest. Flex the feet and point the feet. So what you're doing here is stretching out the back, the entire spine. And keep breathing in, and as you breathe out, lower the head down. Extend your left leg to the left corner of the mat, right to the right. And the feet will naturally open. And arms are a few inches from your body with the palms facing up. The hands will curl naturally towards each other. Reminds me of a flower. Chin slightly tucked, as if you have an apple between your chin and your chest. And let your body just go. Melt into the mat, bone by bone, skin by skin, muscle by muscle. Oh, let it all go. The breath back to its natural rhythm. So what happens here is you rest for 2 to 5 minutes. And as you continue on in your Savasana, you can always, YouTubers, you can always turn me off, pause me. I teach this, I record this live, so I have people watching it that are live. But 2 to 5 minutes, and once you come out of your Savasana at some point, you roll onto your right side and you pause in a fetal shape, and then you come back into your seat. Rather than just jumping out of it. And the reason for the seat is to give yourself just another moment to reconnect.
So this is an opportunity to notice how you're feeling. What's shifted since you sat down at the beginning of the practice? Noticing how good you feel, why it's so important the whole class, doing the whole class rather than bits and pieces of it. Why 30 minutes is just the perfect amount of time to get that good feeling. 30 minutes is a good amount of time. Longer is even better if you can do longer classes, but not all of us can. But this is good. And now you're going to notice there's going to be a very subtle wave in the spine and in your body, the whole body, even after you've completed the practice. It continues on after the practice. So this wave-like movement makes you feel it makes you feel good. It gives you the energy and it's full of joy and happiness. I don't know how to best to explain it. So as I seal this practice for this session, the spinal session on the spine, concentrating on creating movement, mobility in that spine. And if you enjoy my classes, subscribe, just press the button to the right. If you have any comments or any things you might like me to do, just comment below, any types of classes or feedback. Thumbs up would be great. Other than that, I'm Rebecca Jane from yogawithrebeccajane.com, and I'll see you soon.